Thank you everyone for connecting through this video. Starting today, we will be bringing our series on wellness wisdom which is conducted every Monday evening live and online in our studios. We are bringing the whole discussion on YouTube as well. So thank you for joining in. To prioritize health and well-being, we need to understand that it has to come at the top of our minds. But health and well-being is something that do not happen on its own. You have to pursue it actively. And this whole series of discussion that we will have will try to bring about health and well-being up for discussion in a manner which is practical, which does not disturb our social life. It is not impractical. It is practical enough to accommodate in our daily routines, and we want to make every passing day better in terms of health, in terms of our efforts towards our own longevity, towards our own physical and mental independence. So here we are, and this will be our effort from Mystic Yoga's side to bring about a discussion on health and well-being that is practical, that is relevant, that is of use in everyday life. It may not be sometimes fancy, but it will definitely be usable. So having said that, let us start our discussion on what I call total well-being. Now, when we discuss health and well-being, we generally think of two primary aspects of it: diet and nutrition, and exercise. And our discussion does not go beyond these two things. But if you look at the human body and human lives, it is much more complex. We have our digestive system, our nervous system, our cardiovascular system, our bone and joint structure. We are a complex being. So we are emotional as well, we have free will, we have temptations. So human life and human experience is a sum total of many experiences and many mechanisms that work automatically to make us function as a whole. And each individual component needs to be taken care, and not only that, we need to take care of how they work in tandem. So the discussion on health and well-being needs to be expanded beyond just diet and nutrition and exercise. And in that effort, I use a term called total well-being, so that we are physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually happy. We need to consider different facets. So there are 7 pillars or this idea of total well-being rests. First one is your nutrition, diet. We cannot escape it. It has a huge impact on how we feel in body, how we feel in mind. Then is our exercise or movement. We must try to attain physical independence. Think as we grow older, strength is to be pursued by younger people. But exercise, yoga, movement is extremely important, and in that we must pursue strength. So pursuit of movement, pursuit of strength through exercise. So that's our second pillar. Third one is sleep. It is important to engage with sleep as we engage with exercise and diet. We think sleep again will happen on its own. We don't have to worry about it. It's a natural phenomena. If I can't sleep, I can't sleep. Sleep needs to be understood. Sleep needs to be systemized. Sleep, if we are not sleeping well, it should not be left alone for days and weeks together. We must do whatever is it in our capacity to sleep better. Our mind functions better because we are sleeping. Our body gets rest. Our digestive system, our nervous system, our heart, everything revives because we sleep. So actively pursuing quality sleep is the third pillar in our wellness structure. Fourth one is what we call stillness. Sleep by nature is passive, while we could pursue meditation and pranayam that will relax our body and mind, and that will give us some perspective, some context to our thoughts, our motivations and our emotions. Stillness is also to be pursued. It does not happen on its own. We need to make time, we need to make effort for it. So stillness becomes our fourth pillar around which we build our lives for total well-being. Then comes your emotional balance. For us to feel good about ourselves, we need to have emotional balance, or rather what I should say is we must know how to channelize our emotions. If we do not learn how to express our emotions properly, then what happens, either we have an outburst or we keep suppressing it. Our emotions get an expression which is worthy of our self-esteem. So emotional balance and emotional outlet in a structured, in a careful, in a manner which is respectful of our identity is important. So emotional balance and how to pursue it actively, letting ourselves out emotionally without control, is a sign of a mentally disturbed person. So emotional balance is our fifth pillar. Then comes human connect. Whenever there is a study of longevity, one key criteria that comes out is how well people connected to other human beings, their close family members, their friends, their society. So human connect becomes important in this day and age where our whole interaction is on mobile phones. We do not think of anything else other than our screens. So as our screens get smaller and smaller, we are losing out on human connect. That leaves us alone, sometimes feeling lonely, sometimes feeling depressed, and that isolation brings about a different kind of anxiety. That human connects become a very important part of our well-being. Other than that, we cannot feel complete and whole. So that's our sixth pillar. The seventh pillar is finding joy and finding contentment in life. We could operate at a higher base level of happiness, base level of contentment, base level of satisfaction. How can you pursue happiness? It depends on so many external circumstances. That's the whole point that we are trying to highlight, that joy and happiness is independent of external circumstances. Even if we have a spike in happiness because we got a promotion or we won a lottery or we have a new house, that spike of happiness will come down to our base level of happiness. And how to improve our base level of happiness consistently, which is independent of external circumstances, become our key criteria to achieve both physical and mental well-being. The first four pillars that I talked about, nutrition, exercise, sleep and stillness, these four pillars are where we are actively pursuing something more physical in nature. You could see what you are doing. While emotional balance, pursuing human connect and pursuing joy and happiness, these are three things which are more intangible, but both need active consideration, both aspects. The first four pillars and the last three pillars, each pillar needs active consideration and each pillar impacts the other. If you don't sleep well, you don't recover from your exercise. Whatever you eat does not get digested. If you do not digest your food properly, then you don't feel good about yourself. Then if you don't feel good about yourself, you are generally irritable and your human connect gets disturbed. And once your human connect is lost, or if you are irritable always around people, then you find joy and happiness going down for you. Pursue each component diligently, and as we go along in this series of discussion, we will see how each facet impacts the other, and we will also try to take actionable steps so that each can be pursued properly. So it will not be just theoretical discussion, it will be a lot of understanding that we share. Let us talk about our diet a little. So it is important to understand what we eat will impact every single aspect of our lives. There is nothing that does not get impacted with how we eat, what we eat, when we eat, and the number of times we eat. It impacts our gut microbiome, it impacts our hormonal secretion, it impacts our energy, it impacts our strength of here and now and of the future, it impacts our mood. What we eat impacts us tremendously. We love to eat what we have been used to. There is a pattern in which we eat, and we do not want to change that pattern. Eating habits are one of the most difficult habits to change. To evolve our eating habits with age is extremely important. As we go along this series, we will dive deep into nutrition because it is a single most important factor and it is right in our control. External factors can influence our eating patterns only a little bit. So to respect our diet, to be knowledgeable about it, to make conscious choices about eating becomes very important. Prioritize ease of digestion. This is one thing that I want you to remember from our discussion today. We generally think of calories, we think of protein, we think of taste, but what we should actually prioritize as we get older is ease of digestion. So say for example 100 grams of protein is important for me, but if my digestive system does not allow me to take in 100 grams of protein and process it, then what good is that 100 grams of protein? So calories, protein, macro and micronutrients, everything takes a back seat over ease of digestion. Let us talk about exercise. Why do we need to do yoga or to move or to exercise? One of the primary reasons is we gain strength, we become more flexible, our mobility is taken care. But beyond mobility and strength, there are many different reasons why we should exercise. I'll try to build a case why we should exercise very quickly. First of all, it activates your lymphatic system, which is responsible to flush out toxins from your body. So body has a mechanism to flush out toxins, but it needs to be activated. That activation requires movement and vigorous movement at that. Whatever is vigorous at your level. So exercise and movement that pushes you just a little bit is enough to activate the lymphatic system so that your body can start flushing out toxins. That's one. Second is release of anti-inflammatory molecules in the body. Inflammation is something that inhibits your body's capacity to function properly. It helps you build stronger immunity. It is a natural antidepressant. Anybody who exercises or who goes out for a yoga class, every time you feel refreshed when you have done a yoga class. This is because anti-stress hormones get released when you are doing yoga, when you are exercising, when you are utilizing your body. So it is a natural antidepressant. All studies where mental health is being considered, they have more and more people are listing exercise and physical movement as one of the key criterias or key tools for you to manage your mental health. Pick on exercise regularly for you to have good mood throughout the day, day after day. Then it increases blood flow to your joints. Blood flow to your joints would mean more nutrition to your joints. That will mean better bone density. So it's not a straight line. I have oversimplified it, but increased blood flow to your muscles and your joints is a very important criteria for them to stay healthy. Exercise helps you do that. Then Your long-term cognitive health gets a push if you exercise. So your body mind connect that gets established when you move your body, especially through movements in yoga. You will find that your body mind connect has gone up. That has a positive impact on how aware you are of your body, how well your mind knows the strengths and weaknesses of your body. That has an impact on your cognitive health. And finally, this is the last point that I have listed today. I could go on and on about why we should do yoga or why we should invest our time and money and energy in exercise. There is something called emotional resilience that we think is a function of just emotions, but there is a brain derived protein that is responsible for emotional resilience. So it is released as a result of exercise. So even emotional resilience, which we think that you are emotionally resilient by habit or by your mental makeup, but there is actually a chemical reaction that helps us become emotionally more resilient. Exercise helps us do that. So exercise, yoga, movement, all of it has tremendous benefit. Now, one common problem that I have heard people saying that we do not have enough time for it. Time is something that you have to make. Even if you exercise around 18 minutes a day, the sum total of 18 minutes a day will be 100 hours a year. If you invest 100 hours to do anything, you will become good at it. And if you do 100 hours of exercise year after year, your body is going to thank you. So what we need is consistency of practice. We do not need very high intensity exercise. We do not need infrequent exercise. What we need vis-a-vis yoga, vis-a-vis exercise is consistency every single day. If you have a 3-day pattern, do that. If you are exercising 2 days a week, commit to it and stay consistent. Later on you can think how to increase the number of days, but first is to fix your number of days, fix your number of minutes and stay consistent with it. Your body needs it, your mind needs it, and we cannot emphasize enough how important it is to exercise. What we eat, our diet and nutrition, it can only have an impact on the body if we are moving, especially if it is about protein. So eating lots of protein and not exercising it, you do not build muscles by just eating protein. It's the combination of utilizing what you have eaten as fuel to build your body, build your muscles. That is when your diet and nutrition combined with correct form of exercise helps you build muscles. So eating alone may not be enough. You need to add the component of exercise to make it complete. So diet, nutrition along with your exercise. So 2 pillars we have discussed today. A little bit we have gone forward. Let us look at sleep now. Any system that does not get rest will break down. Where it is, you do not give it rest, you do not give it the required amount of rest, it will break down. There is lot of chemical reactions that happen in the body, continuous nerve impulses that go from each and every organ to the brain, and then the brain processes it, responds it. That's how we perceive the whole world through our senses. So when we are pursuing the world through our senses, there is chemical reactions that are happening in the body as well as in the brain, specifically in the brain. Now that chemical reaction leaves a bit of residual toxins, chemicals that needs to be flushed out. If we sleep, those chemicals can be flushed out. If we don't sleep, we do not get to flush out the toxins that are developing or accumulating in the brain. Then you feel foggy, then you feel lethargic, then you don't feel sharp during the day. Your emotional and other perceptions also go down. So sleep is directly responsible for your emotional regulation, for your physical regulation, for your digestion to work better. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to sleep if you are wasting your time on social media, on binge watching movies, please try to avoid that as well. Prioritize sleep even over personal time. If you sleep better, the amount of personal time you need for yourself will get less. You will be much happy with you will have broader shoulders to accommodate emotional and physical stresses. So pursue sleep actively, create an environment, sleep on a proper time, try to eat early as possible, give yourself 2-3 hours before you go to bed. Like, so there are things that we could do to help ourselves. Then if I cannot sleep, I go and take help from a specialist, but there are many common sense steps that I could take. Now comes the fourth pillar, that is of pursuing active stillness through meditation and through pranayama. You want to pursue stillness for self-awareness. You don't want to pursue stillness just for a slice of me time or a slice of peace during an active day. Peace is very much required. I am not deprioritizing it, but self-awareness is way more important, even more important than peace. If you are aware, if you know your true motivations, there will be no gap between what you think, what you speak, and how you act. All three will be aligned. When I am not aware of my truest desires, there is a discrepancy between how and what I think and how I behave and how I act. It is important to align these three for me to feel good about myself. Align these three meaning my thought, my action, my speech. They need to be aligned. They can only be aligned with self-awareness. So become a person of self-awareness, and to do that you need to pursue stillness, meditation and pranayama. That's the result of practicing meditation. What is the use of self-awareness in day-to-day life? For example, say I am someone who wants to lose weight. That's my desire, but I do not act in a way which says that I want to lose weight. So I will be easily giving up on diet, not exercising, not following norms of healthy living, but in my mind I think I want to lose weight. If a person who wants to lose weight in his mind but his actions are not matching with his thought process, they must re-evaluate. Do they really want to lose weight? Probably they are happy with their lives and how they are behaving and how they are feeling. They have made peace with a low quality life. This understanding comes with self-awareness. Once you understand why your stated desire is not matching with your actions and you know the reason, then you can bridge the gap. Either you will state your desire more correctly or you will modulate your actions. Sometimes we want to commit to a lot of good activities. Thought process, action and your speech, all three need to be aligned. That's the gift of meditation. That happens through self-awareness. Then is your emotional balance, human connect and joy and happiness. How do we pursue actively? So I'm clubbing these three together. We have to understand how to pursue emotional outlet. Non-cynical emotional outlet is important. We need to understand emotions and we need to give them space to come out. This understanding also is a gift of self-awareness. We must not suppress emotions, we must not have outbursts. For healthy mental balance, we know how to regulate emotions. So suppression is different, outbursts are different, and regulated emotional expressions are different. That is a sign of a healthy mind. Lost control over myself or the situation, or someone else is overpowering me, then I lose emotional balance. If I study myself properly, if I study philosophy properly, I'll understand how I behave and how I emote generally originates within and not how how others are responding to me or external circumstances. So emotional balance, as we go along in our series, we'll expand on emotional balance quite a bit, very closely related to our mental health. An emotionally balanced person can connect to other human beings properly. When I can be open enough to understand what others are feeling, others are thinking, without getting disturbed and without getting manipulated or influenced, then I am invested in people truly, without the fear of being mugged. Mugged not just materially but emotionally as well. Emotional balance is something that we must understand from the point of view that emotions do not control us. We exercise control and regulation over our emotions. There are various aspects of emotional balance that we need to consider, of which regulation is one. Second is mental hygiene. When we do not have proper mental hygiene, we allow ourselves to go deep into negativity. The moment we see that there is something that is building up in my mind which is unhealthy, which is negative, which is detrimental to my mental tranquility, I must weed it out and never think that I have a right to feel negative. So we feel that we have a right, or we feel there is a need or a situation where anxiety is allowed, or anger is allowed, or jealousy is allowed. Look carefully at your emotions. Do not allow negative emotions to take root no matter what. If you are someone who is actively pursuing mental hygiene, you will be someone who has great degree of emotional control, emotional regulation, which is very different from emotional suppression. This is the mark of a mentally stable and a healthy being. Our sixth pillar is that of human connect. And for human beings, it is important to go beyond themselves, go beyond their singular individual self and connect with their family, connect with their friends. This gives our lives a purpose. You can lose out all hope, but if you have someone to go back to, then there is a desire to back to someone. Purpose is the gift of human connect. If you have gotten into that trap of individualism or not valuing your human connections enough, break that cycle right now. Practicing joy and happiness is our seventh pillar. Notice I am not saying having joy or feeling joyous as our seventh pillar. Practicing joy and happiness is our seventh pillar. Always have a choice to modulate how you feel, to modulate how you respond, modulate how you act. And as I was saying earlier, once you can align your thought, speech and action, you feel generally very happy. To align that, you need self-awareness. So emotional balance, human connect and happiness, this is a more subtle topic. We will expand on it in coming days as we go along. From here on, we will keep expanding on one aspect of our well-being, one at a time, and we will see how to practically include it in our lives, how to pursue it, and what are the benefits. I think understanding is a greater power than will. As we go along, we will try to discuss all the seven pillars. There is lots to be discussed, lots to be understood. Sometimes you will find there is no new information that has been shared in these videos. But the purpose is not to share new ideas here. The purpose is to declutter whatever misinformation is there. The purpose is to break down the myths. The purpose is to have an actionable plan that can be included in our daily lives. We want to bring health and well-being up for discussion every single day so that we actively pursue it. Thank you once again for joining in, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.